Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cara.fiano and I'm a local real estate broker with Mackey Realty here in Asheville, North Carolina. Today's video is going to be my October housing market update. However, before I dive into the contents of this video, I think that it would be appropriate to give you guys a little bit of an overview of the current situation here in Asheville. I think it was 3 weeks ago that I released my video about basically my experience going through Hurricane Helene. If you have not seen that video, I'll leave it linked up here. Basically, I just go through what it was like and, how I've been coping with it. The other video that I put out, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago at this point, was more of a vlog style video where I showed volunteering, what certain areas look like in terms of the level of destruction, and just basically what life is like currently. So if you didn't see that video, I'll leave that linked up here as well. Definitely recommend going and watching them. It's been a very hectic and just unbelievable month. It's been really, really chaotic. I naturally meant to have this video up a lot sooner, but with everything going on and moving and everything, it's been kind of crazy. So ultimately, right now, as you probably can tell, I am back in my apartment. I am here to stay now. We were staying with some friends recently who have all their utilities, but we did move back into our place about a week ago at this point, and our water situation isn't great. We are on the North Fork Reservoir for the city of Asheville, but we do have running water. It's just yellow and not potable, basically. So we're able to shower with it, use it to flush toilets, that sort of thing. We have a whole system set up in the kitchen now with, paper plates, plastic utensils, that sort of thing. And anytime we want to use a pot or a pan, we're basically washing it in the sink with the non-potable water and then soaking it in a bleach water solution for a minute or two. It just makes everything take twice as long. It's been a lot. Thankfully our internet is back up and running now. We do have electric. It's really just the water situation that's been difficult. But we do have running water, and I'm really, really thankful because we honestly made out so much better than so many other people. I know people that lost their homes, people that have lost loved ones, and it's been really, really devastating. Another update on that too, don't worry, I'll dive into the housing market update video very soon, but I will be filming some more videos that are more vlog style to show you guys the recovery efforts that are going on. If you saw that last video I posted, you'll know that I volunteered with Biltmore Church and we were basically helping to pass out supplies. I'm going to be volunteering with them again this time, really just getting out there and actually helping the people that have, had their homes destroyed. So we'll be helping clear out mud and tear out drywall and cut trees and remove debris and all this stuff. So that'll be an interesting vlog. I think it'll feel really rewarding though to help more people in the community. So stay tuned for that. I have some other videos planned, but just if you guys aren't subscribed already, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. I'll continue to do these housing market update videos as well as those vlog style videos as well. Part of me is just going to wing it as well. It's been so hectic. It almost feels like during 2020 when, you kind of couldn't remember what life was like pre-pandemic. Like anything that you were doing or anything that was happening was just, I don't know, it just felt like a whole other world, and that's kind of how it feels with this. Like life is just so different now in many different ways. Anyways, I think that that's enough rambling for now. I'll go ahead and dive now into some of these statistics. And I do want to say I will probably still be doing a separate video just on the Asheville housing market and kind of what I expect to happen in the future. But I will kind of touch on some high level points in this video to give you guys kind of a general idea. As always, I'm going to be separating this video into a few different sections, those being price, inventory, mortgages, local news, and other news. Let's start out with price on a national level. Median existing home sales rose by 3.1% year over year to over $416,000. This is the 14th consecutive month of annual increases. Let's jump now into price on a local level. Now, I want to say here before diving too deep into these local statistics that I'm very well aware that the statistics I'm going to be mentioning are really showing the past few months here in Asheville, and going forward, the housing market may or probably will look a lot different. And so I want you guys to kind of take the local statistics with a grain of salt. You know, I'm not really here to state exactly what's going to happen to the housing market around Asheville. No one can truly predict what's going to happen. I do have some thoughts around this that I'll be sharing later in this video and in that designated video in the future. But basically just take these statistics with a grain of salt. I do think that they're worth sharing though. In the past, when the Q2 statistics came out, I shared some county-specific statistics, and I believe that you guys enjoyed that. So I'm going to do the same thing this time, where I'll share stats for the Asheville region, Buncombe County, Henderson County, Haywood County, as well as Madison County. The Asheville region, as you probably know, is comprised of 13 counties, so I just picked a handful here that tend to be the most populated and tend to be where I do most of my sales. Let me share the prices in those areas. So for Q3 in Buncombe County, the median sale price is $505,000. This is up 6.3% from last year. The average sale price is almost $691,000, which is 13.7% higher year over year. For Haywood County, which is where Waynesville is located, the median sale price is $390,000, which is 0.3% higher than last year, so basically stable. The average sale price is almost $494,000, which is 15.8% higher than a year ago. In Henderson County, naturally where Hendersonville is located, the median sale price is $455,000, which is up 1.2% from last year. So again, pretty stable. The average sale price is almost $532,000, up 4.6% year over year. So definitely up, but not quite as much as Haywood County and Buncombe County. In Madison County, this is going to be like Mars Hill area. The median sale price is $383,500, which is actually down by 5.9% year over year. The average sale price is $426,000, which is down 3.3% year over year. This is the only county out of these four that has had declining prices, which I thought was quite interesting. In the Asheville region, so again, those 13 counties, the median sale price is almost $428,000, which is up 3.1% year over year. And the average sale price is $550,000, which is up 8% year over year. So as you can see, the Asheville region as a whole is seeing increasing prices, though you do have some kind of outliers like Madison County that has seen declining prices. Again, this is for Q3, so this does not even include October. So this really is pre-hurricane. You know, going forward in my videos, I may end up referring to statistics instead of pre-pandemic. It might be pre-Helene. Geez. Let's move now to inventory on a national level. In August, inventory was up 0.7% from July and up 22.7% from a year ago. This is definitely a step in the right direction. However, month supply of inventory is still 4.2, so it's still a seller's market. As a reminder, that number needs to be above 5 in order to be considered a neutral market. Housing inventory still remains below pre-pandemic levels, despite home prices reaching all-time highs in 2024. According to Redfin, in the first 8 months of 2024, only 2.5% of homes changed ownership. This marks the lowest housing turnover rate in the US in the past 30 years. Interestingly, more than 1 in 6 homes that sold in August were new builds. Let's move on now to inventory on a local level. Just like I did a little bit earlier, I'm going to separate this section into those 4 different counties and also talk about the Asheville region. I will preface this with saying that while every county I'm going to be mentioning does have increasing inventory, these inventory levels are still nowhere near pre-pandemic inventory levels. So just keep that in mind when you hear these statistics. All right, so for Q3 in Buncombe County, inventory is up almost 20%. Again, still below pre-pandemic levels, and month's supply of inventory is now 3.5. For it to be a seller's market, again, that number would have to be 5 or lower. In Haywood County, inventory is up almost 60%, though this is again still below pre-pandemic levels. To give you an idea, inventory for Q3 in that area was 383 versus 533 for Q3 in 2019. So definitely heading in the right direction. 60% is a really big number. Month supply of inventory is 4.7, creeping closer to a neutral market, but still in a seller's market in Haywood County. In Henderson County, inventory is up 51%. Again, excellent number, though still below pre-pandemic levels. Month supply of inventory is 3.9, still a seller's market. In Madison County, inventory is up 9.3%, still below pre-pandemic levels. Month supply of inventory is 5.3. Now, this is the first one we've seen over 5. So this is actually a neutral market in Madison County. Again, things could change right now post-hurricane, but as of Q3, Madison County is technically in a neutral market. In the Asheville region, inventory is up 35%, also below pre-pandemic levels, and month supply of inventory is 4.1. So overall, this region is still in a seller's market. Let's move on now to mortgage news. The Fed was anticipating 2 more 25 basis point cuts this year, 4 in 2025 and 2 more in 2026. However, since inflation has been higher than expected, those rate cuts in November are now in jeopardy. As I'm sure you remember, around the time of that 50 basis point cut that we saw a little over a month ago, interest rates actually started looking really, really good. They were around like 6% and seemed like we were heading in the right direction. However, unfortunately, recently rates really rebounded and are now pushing 7% again. This is largely due to the fact that more jobs were added to the economy than were anticipated, and bond market investors who fund government debt as well as mortgages are concerned that there's not a solid plan in place for tackling the immense $34.8 trillion of national debt. Last I heard, mortgage rates are predicted to be around 5.7 or 5.8% by the end of next year. However, I read that statistic before rates jumped to 7%. So my guess is we are going to see an update to those figures. And also, for rates to drop, we'll need to see signs that inflation is cooling down, that the labor market is deteriorating, or both. Let's jump now into some local news. The Buncombe County Commission decided to delay the 2025 reappraisal to January 1st of 2026. A little bit earlier, I touched on the fact that I now do have some form of running water. While it's not potable, it is something. I figured I'd give you guys a bit more of a in-depth update on that. So 80% of the people that live in the city of Asheville are on the North Fork Reservoir, and basically the issue with that is the turbidity levels in the reservoir are just too high right now. They tried to do some treatments to basically coagulate some of that settlement and get it to lower down to the bottom of the reservoir. However, an unusual thing happened where it started clearing up from the bottom up, which is quite odd. That plan didn't really work out. However, they did just decide to implement some turbidity curtains, which from my understanding are basically going to be like surface level filters that will try to ultimately trap sediment. So they're certainly doing a lot of things to try to get this handled ASAP. I'm not sure the unit of measure for this, but I did read that the turbidity level needs to be 1 or below, and it's currently 25. What's really weird to me too is the fact that we haven't had any rain since Helene, at least not where I am. We maybe had like the tiniest bit of rain a couple of days ago, but like hardly anything. So the fact that the turbidity levels are still high is kind of crazy, but it's just going to take time. They're trying different treatment processes, and they're still adding some things to the water as well to try to get that turbidity down. So it's probably going to be quite a while from my understanding, but that's ultimately the North Fork update at this point. In addition to that, Black Mountain recently had some water restored. However, their water is so not potable that it's not even good if you boil it. Personally, the water here in Asheville, I wouldn't use it even if I boiled it. I tried to do that. They say to boil it for like, I think like 1 minute or something, maybe it was 7 minutes. And I did it for 30 and it still was just cloudy and yellow, and I just thought, just not gonna do that. I'm just gonna get some bottled water. Buncombe County has officially performed damage assessments for 70% of properties. They found that 770 structures received minor damage, 975 received major damage, and 575 were completely destroyed. Again, this is just Buncombe County, so this does not include other counties like where Chimney Rock is located, Burnsville. This is just Buncombe County. I do have a couple more statistics to share in the other news category, but before I dive into those, I think that now is probably a good time to share kind of a high-level overview of my thoughts on the Asheville market. So I've had a lot of people, honestly more than I expected, reach out to me and say, what is going to happen to the real estate market? What is happening to it currently? Are home prices going to drop? Are people going to flee the area? And really, no one has answers on this just yet. It's just been a month, I believe 2 days ago was a month since the storm hit. And it's going to take a very long time for things to get back to any sense of normalcy, kind of on the citywide or countywide level. I'm really torn as to what I think the market's going to do. I could see it going really either direction. You know, on one hand, you have people who lost their homes and they ultimately need to find another home. They might jump into a rental. You know, we might see the rental market become more saturated because you have people that lost their homes. They need somewhere to live temporarily while they look to purchase another home or rebuild. There's also the aspect of, because those homes were destroyed, there's less inventory. You have people that will flee the area, whether it's because, you know, their home was destroyed, they can't afford to rebuild, or maybe they were planning to retire here and just said, I'm not interested anymore. It's going to take too long for Asheville to rebuild. You might have people that have investment properties. Maybe they have like a second home that they're renting out as an Airbnb, vacation rental, that probably isn't going to make the best profits over the next year or two. So we might see some of those properties start to hit the market. But on the flip side, I also see a lot of people really working together here to rebuild. The rebuilding process is happening a lot quicker than I think anyone would have anticipated. There is still an immense amount of work to be done. However, I think that it's happening at a really good pace. If some people start to decide to sell their properties because they can't afford to rehab them, or they're just too far gone, then we might see investors and, you know, contractors start to build properties, fix them up and resell them. It's possible that we'll see home prices decline because there will be fewer people that actually want to live here and therefore less demand. But like I said earlier, there might be less inventory because there are fewer homes even available that are even livable. I will say though that, you know, from what I've seen on the market, homes are still selling. I'm still helping people to purchase properties, and I'm seeing that homes are still getting offers. it's really still going. You know, the market didn't stop, and that's kind of the interesting thing about real estate, is that it doesn't matter what happens, whether there's a national disaster, a pandemic, or whatever, there's always going to be people that need to buy and sell. The people here that have jobs that are local and not remote, they're going to need somewhere to live. But as of now, from what I've seen, it hasn't changed a whole lot just yet. I had a property close a couple weeks ago that was under agreement prior to the storm and closed after the storm. I have another one that's set to close hopefully in the next week or two. There's other people that I'm helping to purchase properties, or we're at least looking. I have a friend who might sell pretty soon. So people are still very interested. I think a lot of people are curious. People are interested in moving and buying and selling, and basically just wondering, is now a good time to sell? Is now a good time to buy? And you know, I don't know. I can't say that. No one really can. However, you know, this may sound kind of cliche, but truly the best time to sell your property is when you want to or need to. And the best time to buy a property is when you want to or need to. I've said this in videos in the past where, unless this is an investment property where you are relying on it for income, the choice to buy or sell probably shouldn't necessarily be an investment decision. It's more of a personal decision. How is it going to impact your, you know, life? How is it going to change your way of life? Are you going to be closer to family? Is it going to make your life easier? Maybe you'll be closer to work, or maybe you'll have the space to garden or have a workshop on your property, and that's going to make your life more fulfilled. There's so many other aspects than just money in terms of a reason to buy or sell. So that's a little bit of a tangent. Like I said, I'm kind of collecting some data and other points to create a whole other video on what I think of the Asheville market. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the bell so that you can be notified when I do put that video out. But for now, I think that's all I'm going to say on that topic, and let's jump into those last two statistics in the other news category. In a forecast that was released the same day as the Fed rate cuts, Fannie Mae economists are saying that this year is shaping up to be the slowest year for existing home sales since 1995, and that falling mortgage rates aren't likely going to have much of an impact on the market until next year. Next year, Fannie Mae expects home sales to rebound to 9.5%. As I mentioned, this forecast came out back when interest rates were dropping a little over a month ago, and I'm sure that this will change a little bit now that interest rates are around 7%. However, I do think that that is very interesting to note that sales are down so much, down to 1995 levels. That's just crazy. The last statistic I have for you is around first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers were responsible for 26% of sales in August. This matches the all-time low that we saw in November of 2021. This isn't too surprising considering the fact that affordability is still truly quite bad. Well, that is everything for today's video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comments box down below, and feel free to reach out to me anytime as well. I'm happy to talk over call, text, email. I'll leave my contact info up here on the screen. I always love to hear from my subscribers, so truly reach out anytime. As I mentioned, I do have a lot of different videos that I'm planning for the future, so hit that subscribe button and the bell button down below to be notified of future videos. Hit the like button, share this video with your family and friends, and I will see you very soon in the next one.